Whoa! Back up in the building. Yo, he alive? Back up in the building. How's everybody doing? Grew up in the city and know sometimes we had less. Compared to some of my niggas down the block, and we were blessed. And like can't be no fairy tale of once upon a time. Back up in the building, 1-2-1-2. How's everybody doing? On my Instagram, man. This pain still niggas on mine. On the road to riches, listen, this is what you find. Good news is, nigga, you came a long way. Bad news is, nigga, you went the wrong way. The greatest person that's better like this. Better than yours, no such thing as a likeness. Better than yours, they being broke, they better like this. Better than yours, no such thing, no such thing. But what's money without happiness? A hard time is acting crazy. Woo! I'm not sure what's about to happen next. I'm not sure about having next. My voice a little bad, Bama. We about to wait for a minute. Everybody come on up in here. I don't mean that phrase with no disrespect. So all my niggas out there living in debt. Cash minimal checks. Turn on the TV, see a nigga Rolex. And fantasize about a life with no stress. I mean it's just sincere. And that's a nigga who was once in no shoes, living with nothing to lose. We're gonna talk about this Trump and Biden thing. A little late with the analysis, but we're gonna go into deep tonight. Woo! Black. Hot. Bang. Much better than yours. Better than yours. Much better than yours. Better than yours. Heart beating fast, let a nigga know that he alive. Fake niggas mad, snakes in the grass, let a nigga know that he arrived. You guys let me know my sound. Is my sound okay? Check 1, 2. My Instagram is not working. Let me up in this joint. What's going on my damn Instagram at all? Instagram not letting me get up in this joint. What's going on with it? I'm just like 5 views. I do that 3 more times again. I testify for you. I thought that I do that bitch like it was all that will rhyme was scared to do. I'm not. As long as you joking now with for me, I got it. I'm in skinny, blue it. I told body. As long as you dreaming about me, ain't no problem. I don't got nobody just like you right now. The truth, I look better under you. I can't lose. My Instagram. With you, talking just I like you. I can just lose there is the moment you live to, boy. Ain't nobody like you do. In the top tier ride with you, I feel like Scarface. Everybody get a thing on the radio, about YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. My Instagram is jacked up. It was magic, yeah. Smashing grass, yeah. Last habits take the hole when you're not in. Ain't the home when you're not in. When you're not in. Come in and take a seat. I'm about to kick this thing off. can I lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody do fight like you do. I can't when I'm with you. So can I lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody like you do. You know. And I get my Instagram account, y'all. Instagram account has been blocked. It's crazy. Now I'm with you. How can I lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody like you do. Like you do. When I'm with you. How can I lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody like you do. You do. You haircut. Come on here. Over here. My damn Instagram, it's crazy. Now, excuse me, guys, my voice is hoarse as hell. I don't know what happened to my voice. My voice is gone. We're gonna try to make this work anyway. My voice is a little bit hoarse. So I'm gonna tone it down a little bit, family. If you come on in, whatever platform you're on, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter /X, you know, smash that screen for me, hit the like button, you know, whatever you gotta do on each platform to appreciate the show. My voice. Yeah. What's going on, David? Can you hear me? You hear me good on YouTube, brother? How's my audio over there? My voice is gone, though. My voice is shot. What's going on my Instagram account? It's crazy, man. Woo! It was about 5 minutes ago when I seen how the shit that I got me never seen. Woo! I say no, I'm gonna beat the on second time that you please go home. I gotta do a game proper, spin it so you get it. Should have got a stopper. Or should I talk about the smile? Oh, what about the smile? I'm out of time. She's at the door. I gotta go for mine. Or should I talk about you now? Oh, what about you now? I'm out of time. She's at the door. I gotta go for mine.
All right, that's thanks, David. You know my audio's all right. That's what's up. You know my voice will jacked up. Makes me wanna say yeah. Now we're gonna go through a bunch of things. This damn debate, and a bunch of other things that's happening right now within the this 2024 election as it concerns us as a people. And now it's just nothing but a farce anyway. Nothing but a farce. Excuse me, miss. You start this thing in a minute. All right, booyah. Can y'all see me? Booyah. Back in the building. I should be visible, baby. Should be visible. All right, should be visible. Here we go. Back up in the building. 1 2 1 2. Hit that button. Let's do this. All right, family. Nah, no challenge. Unless you want to know what we're talking about, no goofy TikTok challenges. You want to join us to talk what we're talking about? Cool. So welcome back to everybody. Welcome back to the Black Hot Fire Network show. I'm your host, Mr. Black Hot Fire. Always on that ass. And we're broadcasting live from the United States of America all the way over to the mother continent of Africa, because we're truly one of the only international radio programs, and that's what's up. Now I want to give a shout out to everybody watching us on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, everybody on TikTok / Twitter, everybody on Instagram, everybody on Rumble, everybody on TikTok, and everybody on the Foundational Black channel, Black Hot Fire Network.com. So strap on your headgear, get ready for the ride. Here we go. Black Hot Fire. Sound the alarm. Cause school's back in, stupid. Here we go. Woo! Come on. Black Hot Fire. Come on. Woo! Don't be scared now. You up in there. Don't be scared now. Don't go nowhere. Don't be scared now. Don't be scared now. Black Hot Fire. Come on. Black, hot, fire. Come on. Woo! Back in the building. Black, hot, fire. Come on. Don't be scared. We're going to be here all night. Woo! Black, hot, fire. That's how we do. Don't be scared. We back in the building. Black, hot, fire. Make sure you go get that app on Google Play Store, Black Hot Fire Network. On the Google app, download it. It's free. Just ring the alarm. School's back in. Stupid. My TikTok and my damn Instagram ain't working. I'm being blocked. Woo! Woo! Back in the building once again. Doing it all for you. All right, family. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing, family? Hope everybody's well, right? Okay. Now, we're going to go through the step-by-step thing of this 2024 election. This fuckery being put on the American people of both these geriatric morons, Biden for president, Trump and Biden. Crazy, disillusional, dementia-ridden Biden. Weekend at Biden. You guys remember those movie from, what was that, like 35 years ago, Weekend at Bernie's? You got those memes out here called Weekend at Biden's. It's hilarious. But, family, we've all been played. This is kabuki theater. As American people, we've all been played. This is kabuki theater because both of these parties and both these individuals still work for the same people. Okay, where you going at? Still work for the same rotten individuals that actually run the banks. So they always been telling you since you was, from time immemorial, take the worst of take the better of two evils. Or the worst of two evils, whatever they call it, right? But the sad fact is that no matter who we elect, policies never change. The policy of the United States never changed. We got endless wars. We got countless money laundering. Countless corruption. Nothing changes. You had, almost 8 years ago with Trump talking about draining the swamp. What swamp did he ever drain? Nothing. Put the same swamp back in the pile who was already destroying us as a country. So, America is no longer a democracy. If it ever was, it's always been an oligarchy. Always been an oligarchy, ruled by the few, ruled for the benefit of the few, at the expense of the masses. Right? That's what you're doing. It sounds like most people are finally waking up to this hypocrisy, to this nonsensical, idiotic nonsense that you live in some form of democracy. That's why the censorship, I can't even get on my Instagram account. I can't even get on it. Can't get on the Instagram account whatsoever. Can't get on the Instagram account. It's constantly blocking me out now. So we got mass censorship because you have an American awakening because everybody's stomach is now touching their backbones. Everybody's struggling in this country because you've had massive money laundering and money printing that's caused massive inflation where no one can afford to survive. And if you've seen that hysterical debate a little bit more, over a week ago, it was hilarious. None of the issues were ever really discussed. And the constant genocide that's going on in Gaza right now, both of these morons support that genocide because we are a captured nation. We are captured by the state of Israel. We are a captured nation. That's just a fact. no more conspiracy theory nonsense that we are a captured nation by a foreign power. And so all our foreign policy benefits that nation. Does not benefit the American people whatsoever. So we got endless spending for wars that the American people do not want to be engaged in. Endless wars. And we've been made to go to these wars dealing with propaganda with first the 9/11 scam. The 9/11 scam. It told you always these people in this cave. People in this cave. Osama bin Laden, who worked for the CIA. Nothing but CIA stooges and nonsense tell you that it was these people in this cave in Afghanistan who orchestrated 9/11. Now we must have all our rights taken away with the fake Patriot Act. Understand, these are walking us into a totalitarian state. They've been walking us into a totalitarian state by fear-mongering to us. And all these elections have been nothing but selections. Doesn't matter who wins because the policies never change. We got endless wars, fam. Endless war. Everybody's an enemy. And it's always Russia, Russia, Russia. That, be afraid of Russia, 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 Russia. That's the constant narrative we hear. Why we can't get health care. Why we can't have decent jobs anymore. Why we can't have a decent living anymore. The American dream has become an American nightmare because you run by wicked-ass oligarchs. You don't have any democracy. Okay? We make that plain. If you're an absolute moron, you believe you live in a democracy. That's idiotic propaganda. And so they've done false flag after false flags in America to stage us where we are now, where all our rights are damn near stripped away. You got two geriatric corrupt bastards running for. These are our choices. No one chose Trump. No one chose Biden. The lesser of two evils, right? The lesser of two evils we supposedly have. No one chose any one of these. Both of these candidates are insufficient to what Americans want. Both candidates are insufficient. That's why they're there. Both candidates are sponsored by the oligarch, so it doesn't matter who wins or who loses, because at the end of the day, they win. Because both of these bastards are corrupt. Both of these bastards are bought and paid for. Okay? And so the endless wars will not stop. You got open borders running wild in America. Open borders running crazy in America right now. And these are the people that sponsor. People that sponsor both these campaigns are the one flooding us with these illegal aliens. We've been run over. And then we're being gaslit with this goopy ass debate with Biden talking about, I'm trying to, I don't know what the hell he said. I'm trying to stop the illegal aliens. But he knows damn right the people that put his ass in power are behind flooding us with these illegal aliens. He knows damn right that's been the plan. Flying them into different parts of the United States, setting up in certain parts of the country, giving them pay allowances and food and free housing and all other kind of shit. And then tell us don't believe our lying eyes. We're crazy. Don't believe our lying eyes. So, sadly enough, as Americans, we're at a real bad crossroads. We are a captured country. It's a scary thing. We are a captured country with corrupt oligarchs running it. And the scam and the scheme is the WEF scam. The World Economic Forum is to shrink the population and take over everything with their model with the 2030 agenda in full effect. You know, you own nothing and be happy. So now they're trying to price you out of everything. And since you've been dumbed down through their media, most Americans haven't been able to fight back and even know what is even going on. What's transpiring? You've been given all kind of just inundation of propaganda. Constant propaganda you've been flooded with. Consistent propaganda. But let me share this guy's video with you guys, this audio real quick. Give me a second. Let me set this up. So I wanted to share this. I hope I got the right video lined up. But I got the wrong one, so give me a second, guys. And I got the right one. Let me see. Look, everybody messed my bit. Let me see. Damn,
Have you followed the collective yet?
Started what the hell just happened? I just lost the video I just had, didn't I? Hold on, guys. I just hit the wrong damn button. I tell you. Not my day. Give me a second, guys. Damn. Shit. I hit the wrong damn button. Give me a second, guys. Damn.
When I say our people and I say our countries.
Oh, let me take this off. Just put myself back up on it. Give me a second, guys. Somebody's looking for shit. I had it all queued up and messed it all up. Let me see. Just watch.
When I say our people and I say our country.
Not this one.
To the Northwest, even when they were so-called Christians, even before that.
That's not it. Hold on.
It's kind of unbelievable to me that anyone would actually go along with the narrative that what Israel did in the Nusayr.
Interesting in this America isn't a democracy. America isn't a democracy.
Yeah, we're not a democracy. I'm gonna let him say it in his own words, but I've been saying it. We're not a democracy. We are an oligarchy. What happened? What the hell just happened? You see, I just got a look. What? I just got blocked off both TikTok accounts. What the hell? Talking about. I gotta go. I just got blocked off. Look at this shit here. I gotta submit an appeal. We didn't say anything yet. Look at that. So, both accounts just went down. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. I got both TikTok accounts banned, and I didn't even say nothing yet. Both of them gone out. This one, that one account, and this account over here, right? And this account. We're not saying nothing. Make that make sense. Anyway, see, family is complete. With what we're dealing with is complete censorship. Me just talk. I didn't say anything yet. Didn't even discuss that yet. That we're living in an oligarchy. That's what we're living in. It's a fact. So how is that going against any guidelines? What guidelines have I broke? None.
Democracy. America is an oligarchy. It's a plutocracy. It's ruled by the rich, of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich. Democracy in America is just a smokescreen. It's a charade that they perform every election cycle just to pacify you, to make you believe that you have some stake in the system. I mean, look at the reality. For roughly the first 100 years of American so-called democracy, only white male property owners could vote. The so-called land of the free was built on the exclusion of the vast majority of its people from the democratic process. This gradually expanded to include all white males and theoretically black males, but not in practice, in theory. Eventually, they had to grant the vote to women and Native Americans.
Make that
Imagine that. The indigenous people of that land were the last to be given the right to vote in that land. What kind of democracy is that? But they never wanted power in the hands of the people. As the franchise of voting expanded to include those who were not white male property owners, the real power moved further and further away from the democratic process. They dangled the right to vote in front of you to make you think that you're a participant in power.
Exactly.
But they kept the real power in the hands of the wealthy elite.
So, this is all I said. And both my TikTok accounts got banned just now. Both of them got banned. Can you imagine that? I just started, they both get banned because you're living in an oligarchy. You're not supposed to know anything anymore now. TikTok is worse than fucking YouTube. I didn't even say it. I just started the shows and both fucking accounts get banned. Because if you say anything real now, you're being banned because you're going against their fake narrative. Their narrative is falling apart. Nothing but war criminals that call themselves government officials, bombing, robbing, killing, and stealing. That's what's going on. And so you got the lesser two evils, two geriatric morons who are supported by the same individuals who funded these wars. The military-industrial complex and the Jewish state. That's the deep state. You know what the deep state is? Israel. That's the deep state. You say that, all your shit comes down.
More and more so over the years. As the right to vote expanded, the relevance of the vote contracted. I said no one ever intended for power to be in the hands of the people, and it never has been. I mean, just look at how money controls politics in America today. The Supreme Court's decision on the Citizens United case opened the floodgates for corporate money in elections. Billionaires and corporations pour millions and millions of dollars into political campaigns, drowning out the voices of ordinary people, of the whole electorate. They're hiring candidates. They're writing laws. They're purchasing policies that serve their interests. This isn't democracy, it's oligarchy. When a handful of wealthy individuals can dictate policy and sway elections, obviously democracy doesn't exist. Politicians just do a tour of duty in government to prove their loyalty to their funders before moving to highly paid positions in the private sector, working then for the same people that they worked for all along. You know, every time they do a tax cut, who benefits? The richest 1% will receive the lion's share of that, while the rest of the people have to make up the difference. Whatever they don't take from the rich, they take from you. Instead of taking from the 1% who own and control more wealth than the rest of the 99%, they take it from you. And somehow you still think you live in a democracy. No.
Crazy.
The democracy they have is the one they always intended to have, which is one in which only the rich and the owners of the society have any say. You have the right to free speech only because no one listens to you. And where has this led? Where has this system of yours led? Well, it's led to the only place that ever could lead. It's led to the creation of an unaccountable oligarchical elite who don't see you as anything but entries in their accounting books, either as assets that they own or liabilities that they need to eliminate. And through globalization, this nation within a nation, because that's all the rich are, just a nation within a nation, they became a global nation. They became an empire. And America is just one of the territories under their sovereignty. Oh, they colonized you. America became a colonized country, conquered by their very own monopolistic plutocratic elites. And they're subjugating you and the entire collective West the same way that you colonized and subjugated our countries. They've created global institutions, imperial institutions like BlackRock, like Vanguard, like State Street. That's why I talk about the owners and controllers of global financialized capital. The owners organize institutions of control. And that's what BlackRock is. BlackRock is like the Ministry of Imperial Expansion. It's like the colonial office of the old British Empire. And we in the global South, in the Muslim world, recognize it as such. Nobody likes BlackRock. Nobody likes the fact that we have to deal with this now. This predatory monster.
Exactly.
This predatory monster that you made, that your system created, because you created the most insane wealth gap in history. And you created financialized wealth accumulation. You know, you brag about how brilliant your economy is. How your brilliant economy has created more billionaires than any other economy, as if that's a sign of economic health, not economic deformation. You know, you don't say that about anything else. For anything else, such kind of a disproportion like that is seen as ugly and unnatural. Like if someone has abnormally large teeth or something, or like those guys who lift weights in the gym but only work upper body muscles, so they have little spindly chicken legs. Your economy is a mutant. The point of a healthy economy is not to produce huge disparity, but you brag about it.
Yep.
Even as you hate BlackRock, while you made BlackRock, you created this class. You created this nation of parasitic wealth hoarders and the institutions they use to organize their economic power. The institutions of the feudal elite.
Feudal elite.
The institutions that they use to consolidate and expand their control over everything. But nobody likes it, but you did it. You created this super predator. And now we all have to deal with it. And of course, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, it's not the first time you did something like this. The East India Company, the United Fruit Company, they were earlier versions of these types of institutions, these institutions of economic imperialism. And of course, for all of these institutions, the current ones and the previous ones. Their main business has always been war and pillage. Because the fact is, you've never really come up with another way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
All your technology is only made possible by vicious exploitation, slavery, and violence.
War and
It
pillage.
bewilders me. Every argument that Westerners make to substantiate their claim that their so-called civilization is superior, every argument is materialistic. We have nice things. We invented all the technology of the modern world and so on. You don't realize that when you make that argument to the global South, well, we're living in the background where all that technology comes from. It comes from our minerals, our rare earths, our mines, our ravaged environments, and our subjugated labor. We're living in the part of the Apple logo where the bite is. So that doesn't impress anyone in Africa or Asia or Latin America. You have nice stuff. Yeah, we know how you got it. We know how you got it. And it wasn't by brilliance, it was by brutality. It was then and it is now. So you should really stop using that argument. It's self-incriminating. So we don't have the option, and we know we don't have the option to ignore BlackRock or pretend it doesn't exist. We have to deal with it. We have to deal with the reality of it. And the reality is that those billionaires you brag about creating have eaten you down to the bone. And now they're coming our way. They have completely captured your governments and all of the powers at the disposal of your governments.
Now, what he's saying is absolutely correct. We live in an oligarchy. And since I said that, all my TikTok accounts got fucking banned for a week. See that? That one and this one got banned. I just started and got banned for saying the truth. That it doesn't make a difference, especially for black people. Understand, for black people, it don't make a difference who we put in, Trump or Biden. Neither one of them represent any kind of black issues. It's a con game scam. But if we do want to hurt a party, we should hurt the Democratic Party to stay home. Because they've done nothing for them. The scam with them is that they've been benefiting us when they have not. It's always been a con game with the Democratic Party, right? It's not ever benefited us one iota. So their scam is coming to an end. They're trying to scare you. Oh, the Republicans are going to do this. Republicans are already wicked. We know how wicked they are. Finally, black people waking up and realize how wicked you are as a democratic, supposedly fake democratic institution. There's no democracy in this country. Can't explain how all these individuals go to Congress and all of them now are millionaires. Off a congressman's salary, they're all millionaires because they're all blackmailed or bought and paid for. That's what we're dealing with. So none of their, nothing that we need, nothing that we desire or ask for is ever granted to us because they're already bought and paid for. We live in an oligarchy where these billionaires, like you tell you, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, control everything and own the majority of the corporations on the planet owned by these nefarious ass companies, which really owned by the bankers. They put these fake ass names of a BlackRock, a State Street, a Vanguard, but there's independent shareholders behind these corporations that have bought up everything because they stolen every damn thing that ain't been nailed down to the ground. Because unfortunately, white people are easily manipulated for racism. Racism. Easily manipulated and given everything to these goddamn corporations. They believe, like this man is telling you, they created all these monstrosities. Told you it was freelance capital. This is the capitalism at its finest. But I told you it's nothing more than creating another feudal state. That's what white people always create, feudal states. A few lords at the top, as they call them, the lords, and all the peasants at the bottom. So once again, we're experiencing this again. The lords at the top and the peasants at the bottom. This time they mean to wipe us all out. And you got these two morons as if they have any power. Neither one of them controlling power because the policies are not going to stop. They both support that bombing in damn Gaza, which is illegal, and genocide. Which is illegal and genocide, they both support it. If I say that, yes, they got banned on TikTok.
We can look around and see what's happening in the world. We can see what's happening in Europe, how BlackRock and the World Economic Forum are humiliating
That's right.
and sabotaging that whole continent, weakening the countries of Europe, while simultaneously driving them into war.
Yep.
Your inspiration.
No, that's a fact. The WEF is completely sabotaging Europe, breaking Germany's with the fake Green New Deal shit that they were forcing down everybody's throat. This fake ass Green New Deal nonsense. Talk about the fake global warming, which is absurd, nonsensical, idiotic morality, right? So now they deindustrialized Germany, which is the heart, which is the economic heart of Europe, along with France raping ass of Africa. France is only able to be a world power because of the raping of Africa. Now they're being kicked out of Africa, so they're now crumbling as a country. So Europe is imploding, and that's because of these damn oligarchs imploding Europe. And then while they implode America as well, we're being imploded. This has been on purpose. The implosion of the United States has been on purpose. They see themselves as no country mates of yours or no nationalists. They don't believe they're from the United States or any country. They stand outside countries and borders. They rob, steal, and go to the next one. And if you know who owns the banks, you know. People we can't never talk about, say the names, we get banned every time. Because we're right over the target.
Billionaires are leading Europe to the slaughter. It's really quite remarkable. You know, they got rich by colonizing us, and now they're colonizing you.
Exactly.
And if they can, they'll come back again and pillage us all over again. But we have experience now. Now we know better how to strategize and how to contain the threat your OCGFC posed to us. And we know how the power dynamics have changed in the world. That's why countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Malaysia are initiating deals with BlackRock, partnerships with BlackRock. We know the risk, of course we do. But like I said, we can't safely ignore them either. By voluntarily giving them a stake in our economies, we disincentivize open hostility and aggression. And we can set the terms, we can define the relationship, and we can fix the limits to ensure, inshallah, mutual benefit. Look, there isn't a part of the Muslim world that is not under threat. There isn't a part of the Muslim world today that they don't already have a prepared pretext for invasion and violent coercion, from the Sahel to Southeast Asia, and obviously the Middle East. All of the pretexts are there for violent disruption and destabilization. If it weren't for the partnerships between BlackRock and Saudi Arabia and the UAE and the Gulf and Malaysia and so on, I don't think that there's any reason to believe that there wouldn't already be a region-wide war in West Asia, in the Middle East. But those deals have given the OCGFC a reason to prefer stability. It's those deals, in my opinion. It's because of those strategic partnerships that Israel is getting more and more isolated. And that's why Zionism is fast becoming obsolete. There's no doubt in my mind that if our countries completely cut off access to institutions like BlackRock, if we completely shut them out, as many are inclined to do, and quite understandably, but I have no doubt that if we were to do that, then the neocons in Washington would have all the OCGFC backing they need to launch multiple wars and campaigns of violence across the global South. Again, nobody likes it. And everyone is fully aware that these people are vicious predators and cannot be trusted. But it's precisely because they are this way that we have to deal with them.
It's just like the mafia. Giving them a cut of your revenues potentially keeps your shop from being burnt to the ground. Because you see, the OCGFC, your OCGFC, want to come over here, your BlackRocks and your Vanguards.
You don't want to call them what they are, you know, the Jays. The Jays, these people, if you don't give them a little cut of your shit, you'll find your shit burned down to the ground, your country invaded, you'll find terrorism everywhere. That's the con game.
I mean, for Vanguard, the name gives it away. They want to come over here, but our systems are not like yours over there. I've talked about this many times. Our systems, our authority structures are not like yours. We have our own OCGFC. We have our own elites. We have our own domestic owners and controllers, kings and sultans and emirs and tribal chiefs and mukhtars and what have you, especially in the richest countries, our richest countries, like the Gulf states. And they're connected. Those authority figures are connected, often even by family ties, to the population. They have a heritage of power and control, and they rule both the public and the private sector. And they have a memory of colonization, and that memory informs their strategies now, because they don't want to get co-opted again. They don't want to get subordinated again. They know your tricks, and they know your traps and your triggers, and they know your criminal intentions. And most importantly, they know that you're coming over here, let's be honest, because there's nowhere left for you to go. And that means that they have some bargaining power, and that's what they're doing. Our liberation from colonization is not going to happen by means of some dramatic revolution, but by a careful, meticulous succession of maneuvers, just like a prison escape, moving at just the right moment, just the right distance. And once we get out of the prison compound, there's a minefield we have to navigate through. It's going to happen by a series of trade-offs, with each trade-off resulting in more sovereignty and more independence than the last. And every door that we pass through will close behind
So
us.
what he's telling you, that doesn't make a difference who one of these fake ass presidents are in there. The agenda, because they've already imploded, they've already robbed and steal America blind and Europe blind, is to now go get Africa and the Middle East. He knows that. Because they've already robbed and steal, and destroyed our countries. So it's never been about any damn democracy. Who vote for him? That's all kabuki theater we see. Because the policies are not going to change, man. When you get geriatric Biden or Trump in there, I don't think it's trained who's going to start the war quicker. Because they need a world war to stop them from being blamed. That's why you got all this Russia hysteria and not being told the truth that it wasn't Russia that started the war. They say all these fake narratives because they own all the media. They've consolidated all power. All media is consolidated. You don't know what the hell is going on because all media parrots the same shit over and over again. You listen to a parrot show of no diverging thoughts, no diverging ideals. It's just copy and parrot. Put on a fake narrative of lies and propaganda. Russia didn't invade no damn Ukraine. The United States overthrew a duly elected government. They don't believe in any democracy. That's all a con game you've been given for years. Every democracy's out there, they're damn oligarchy dealing with business ties, want those countries' resources. And so they'll go in there, overthrow a duly elected democracy. They don't believe in nothing. Then they'll gaslight you with all this home of the brave, land of the free shit. It's nonsense. It's paradoxical. It's moronic. They don't believe in none of it. They went to Ukraine to rob and steal it. So they overthrew the sitting democratically elected government back in 2014. And then they put their terrorist group, their Nazis in and run around killing innocent Ukrainians. And so Russia had no choice but to attack. Because they were killing Russians who lived in the east, the Donbass and other places in the eastern part of Ukraine who were ethnic Russians. And then they tried to set up what? A NATO base there. So now they want to be pushed right up against the border of Russia because the ideal is to break up Russia. Okay, check all this nonsense, all this fake shit you hear on the news. It's all lies. And when we talk about this, now we get banned. No one wants to tell you the real truth of what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and let him wrap up. Then we're going to go into this goopy ass debate. It's hilarious, to these two geriatric morons.
Until eventually the prison guards and the prisoners have completely traded places.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that that's what our countries, the Muslim countries, the BRICS nations, and so on, I believe that that's what they're doing. And they're doing it masterfully, in my opinion. And there's no doubt that it's treacherous. It's dangerous. Again, just like a prison escape, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
But I know from my own experience that solidarity and unity is absolutely essential. Everybody has a role to play. Everyone has to do their duty, and everyone has to keep a cool head. This is not a drill. We're taking back our lands. We're taking back our territory, politically, economically, psychologically, and culturally, and we're doing it methodically and systematically. And in my opinion, anyone who tries to incite emotion and incite impatience is working for the enemy, whether they know it or not. Look, our liberation will liberate everyone. And no one can do it but us. The West certainly can't do it. You created the problem. You gave birth to this monster. But we're your only hope of slaying it. And who do I mean by we? I mean the Muslims. Specifically the Muslims. The Muslims are the only ones who can stop this juggernaut. We have experience in toppling empires, but we do it our way, not your way. The Sasanians, the Byzantines, the Visigoths, the kingdoms of North Africa, India, Central Asia. No one has confronted and transformed more empires than the Muslims, and we've never been conquered. Don't believe it for a second. That's a lie that the West likes to tell itself and tries to convince us about. But no, we've never been conquered. You never succeeded in turning our lands away from Islam, and you never will. And that's what our empire was always about. It wasn't like yours. It wasn't about colonization and wealth. We didn't have materialistic or power-hungry motives. All we wanted was for Islam to reach the people, and it did. And once it did, it stayed. The only way that you could turn a Muslim land away from Islam was by driving us out of it, which invariably resulted in a miserable orgy of violence and repression in any country that you drove us out of. But you never conquered a single land of ours and successfully drove Islam out of it. Not even communist China and the Cultural Revolution could uproot Islam from the hearts of the Muslims. So yes, we have converted empire after empire, and we can do it again.
Well, let me get out of that, guys. Let me get out of this. Let me go here to this right here. Let me go to this, guys. Get out of that. Go to this one.
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the
White
House.
This idiotic nonsense.
The current U.S. president,
I went to this last week.
the former U.S. president, as their party's presumptive nominees, a first in American history. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to our studios in Atlanta. This is the CNN presidential debate.
This debate is being produced by CNN and is coming to you live on CNN, CNN International, CNN.com, CNN Max, and CNN Espanol. This is a pivotal moment between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in their rematch for the nation's highest office. Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day. Good evening, I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union.
I'm Dick Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules of the debate with the audience at home. Former President Trump will be on the left side of the screen. President Biden will be appearing on the right. A coin toss determines their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak, his microphone will be turned on and his opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate interrupt when his microphone is muted, he will be difficult to understand for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate. By accepting our invitation to debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
And this is how laughable this is, that both these individuals are even fit to even be president of the United States because their mental capacity is definitely diminished. Both, even though Trump is not as diminished as Biden, both their mental faculties have diminished. They're both octogenarians, right? 80, close to 80. The idea we have these individuals running supposedly the most powerful country in the world would be idiotic. but they don't matter because they don't have any real power. It's all fake. It's all phony. They don't run anything but their mouths. Damn, got a commercial on this shit. Damn, I can't even go past the damn thing. Look at these goddamn commercials.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Googling the damn commercials. Try to get some shit without the commercials.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120.
More
And
than
typical
that.
home prices have jumped more than
Nah,
30%.
more than that.
What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just think,
Well, nobody died from the pandemic. That's another lie. They were dying. See, all these lies they tell, the gaslighting. And the money's messed up. Inflation's gone because they've been endlessly printing money, giving it to fucking Ukraine for this endless war that the Americans do not agree with. And they gaslighted you in the beginning. Oh, Russia is invading Ukraine. We must fight Russia, 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 Russia. All these lies they told. It's inflated because this goddamn worthless dollar's been printed to almost to extinction. That's what's going on. So, but none of this news media is going to tell you this. That they've been giving endless money to Ukraine and doing nothing for the American people because none of these two bastards represent the American people. They don't represent us. The oligarchs that run both these geriatrics don't want the money going to American people. They want to end this wars because war is a profit for them. As Eisenhower told you back in 1960 as he's leaving his Beltway address about the military-industrial complex, who runs it? The bankers run all this shit. These oligarchs. That's why we got endless wars to feed their bank accounts and destroy the United States. That's what's happening. That's why our infrastructure is falling apart. Schools are falling apart. Can't pay for groceries. People can't even rent apartments because none of these two bastards represent the American people. And you've been gaslight, talking about the lesser of two evils. None of them represent us.
inject a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do was try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do.
If you've been worried about putting things back together again, why have you been giving billions of dollars to Ukraine? Since you've been so concerned about that, what has Ukraine got to do with the United States? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you were concerned about the American people and them, their stomachs touching their backbones, why was the money put into something, a works program or something for the American people, instead of endless billions of dollars going to Ukraine? A war that you can't win, a war that you really lost already. And these psychopaths have always said, it's about the money. Ukraine is worth so much money. It was never yours to steal. As you heard the other gentleman saying on the last video we just played, they're robbing and they're stealing. That's what it's about. They're robbing. So Vanguard condemned. And if you don't know who got the major contracts, go look at Vanguard and BlackRock. Have got all those major contracts in Ukraine. It's the robbing and stealing for the global elite. Nothing to do with the American people at all. That's what the war is about. As they gaslight you about all the fighting for Ukrainians. That's a crock of shit. As they tell you, oh, we're fighting for democracy when Zelensky disillusioned his democracy. disillusioned his whole goddamn government and turned into a dictatorship. They still talking about some democracy in Ukraine. But he got rid of all the news media, got rid of all his cabinet, got rid of everybody that was opposed to his rule. That's a democracy. They don't believe in a democracy. Gaslighting. We got to help Zelensky in this fake democracy that doesn't exist. We got to keep fighting for this non-existing democracy that does not exist. As they spend all your money toward democracy, which they keep telling you doesn't exist. As they starve you here at home, because your government does not benefit you. It's an oligarchy. As he said, as the last gentleman I showed you said, that's a fact. There's no American government that represents you. They play in your face. Millions of dollars to Israel now, too, to commit genocide in Gaza. Millions of dollars to commit open genocide in Gaza. And you got homeless people everywhere around the United States. Where the fuck is their money at? Where's the money for the homeless individuals that's in the streets? Oh, but you got another thing that oligarchs are doing, flooding our borders with illegal aliens. That's them doing it. And Joe Biden is just nothing more than their puppet. They're the ones flooding the border with these illegal aliens. That's why nothing's being stand down. They're allowed to come here, all in Chicago and New York and everywhere you find them at. You think that's a coincidence all of a sudden? They're doing it.
We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania, a household where the kitchen table for things weren't able to be met during the month was a problem.
Somebody come from Scranton. This dude has never had a job in his whole goddamn life, but he's a multi-millionaire, being a congressman, senator, and now the vice president. Where's his money come from? All corruption. We know he's corrupt as shit. All the lobbyists that gave him money, the oligarchs that gave him money, put him in power. This dude has never had a job in 50 years, but he's a millionaire off a government salary. Like they all are. How's that possible? Because they're all corrupt and all puppets of the oligarch. That's why.
The price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination.
We're going to cap rents. How do rents get so crazy? I mean, you're going to cap them. Because now you know people can't afford to live. Can't afford to paying $2,000 for a one-room shack. Now you're going to cap it high. Same people put you in power, the ones that raise the rents. What are you talking about? Absolute nonsense talk they give you. We're going to stop doing this. We're going to cap the rents, and we're going to do this. You're not going to do a damn thing. All you're going to is float past the goddamn graveyard talking crazy talk. Because the people that put both you morons in power are the ones, the BlackRocks and the bank are the ones that's buying up all the real estate in this country and hiking the prices up. And you've done nothing about it. Now I'm saying now you become election, you give me words speak that you're going to do something about it. You've been in power 4 years. Why you ain't done nothing about it now? What have you done about it now? You ain't done shit about it. People crying on the internet, they can't pay their bills, can't afford to live anywhere, got to take 2 and 3, 4 roommates. But now it's come to your attention that people's backbones, their stomachs are touching their backbones. They can't survive. Now you realizing you're going to do something about it. How you going to do something about it? When the same people that write your campaign checks are the ones fleecing the American people's rent. Huh? It's Agenda 2030. It tells us not to believe our lying eyes when they said you'll own nothing and be happy. This is the shit they're doing. And you puppets have been put in charge to lead us to that very same thing. They can't afford the rent. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Left in the corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in the Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible.
And remember, these fake ass Democrats always talk about the abortion agenda, right? You got rights to your body. You got rights to your body with the abortion agenda. But when they talked about this fake ass vaccine that they introduced to the world, now you can have autonomy over your own body. They try to tell you to have autonomy in your body. So they were firing people who wouldn't take their fucking vaccine. Well, goddamn, I got the right over my motherfucking body, not your ass. I decide what goes in my body. That's my God-given right, whether you like it or not. How dare you try to tell me you're going to mandate some shit to me? If some other people want to take it, I got no problem with them. Let them do it. I have no problem with that. They got freedom of choice. As you supposedly fake-ass bastard said with your abortion fakeness. Oh, the woman has a right to her body. It's wrong not to have a right to your body. It's wrong not. But when you talk about that vaccine shit, now we don't got a right to our autonomy over our bodies no more. Now all of a sudden we don't got that right. What kind of hypocritical nonsense are you talking? Either I got the right over my body or either I don't. But I'm telling you, you don't have the right to my body. Not now, not ever. I decide what goes in my body. Not you. Not no government, not ever. So I'll vote your ass out of goddamn power just for that alone. When you tried to dictate to me what goes in my very essence, my very being. Out of your mind?
The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, the bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world, he's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks that we have the greatest economy in the world. And, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's had lost more
Now they both.
than he had.
Now you just now, at least the other white Arab guys, they both benefit the wealthy. Neither one's different from that. That's why the middle class doesn't exist anymore in America. It's been completely decimated. What middle class? It's the working poor now. The middle class has been completely decimated by these people, by these psychopaths. They've done that. Voted the goddamn middle class out of existence. Through propaganda, the make-believe Reagan shit that they're going to be rich someday. All this other nonsense. The trickle-down economic scam that they gave these big conservative morons. To trickle down and keep things away from black people, we're going to trickle down the economy. When did it ever trickle down? from the 1980s. We've been destroyed since Reagan, Nogan. And these moronic white people still worship Reagan racist ass and the trickle-down scam. They're living the trickle-down scam. Trickle-down economics. You give it to the rich, and somehow it'll trickle down on you. You'll get the spit from it. They'll spit some saliva on you or something. Trickle-down shit. It ain't never worked. Voodoo economics. And the right-wing wacko still sucks on Reagan's dick today with that trickle-down shit that's destroyed them economically. That's why they're running around on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube crying, I can't survive. Please, I don't care. When their whole generation voted for that trickle-down scam. Giving more money to the goddamn elite. As that other gentleman said in the last video, they created this mess. And now upset from what they created. This oligarchy. This pillage and burn society that they've created. Because they've always been parasites. This new feudal state that now they've imported back to the United States. You're living under feudalism now.
Since Herbert Hoover, the idea that he did something that was significant in the military. You know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any, this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
Not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down and then they bounced back. And he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. And they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt. Well, so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID and even after COVID.
It's a lie. Giving all money to this is another lie. See, all this fake ass Reaganomics shit doesn't work. So his whole scam is a lie. But the right wing wackos, the damn Trump nuts, I tell you that they're giving money to all the rich. The rich are now destroying their ass. They'll still continue with the same idiotic ass nonsense. Talking about giving all the money to the rich has helped them. It's not. It's now put us in an oligarchy headlock where the rich control everything and own everything. So you're not even living in a capitalist society anymore. You're living in crony capitalists. You're living in monopoly capitalists where they own everything, all aspects of the economy. So you don't have a real economy anymore. You have monopoly, which is not good for anybody. But you have Trump still advocating for a monopoly. So what swamp is he goddamn draining? None. See, these are both bad choices because they both represent the oligarchy. So no matter who wins, who loses, the oligarchy wins because the policies of supporting the rich doesn't change. The theft from the middle class and the lower class continues. Money keeps goddamn siphoning up to the top. See the scam? So you never get anybody actually running for president that can actually help us. You get two bad candidates who are both backed by the oligarch.
It was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like...
That's a lie. Those companies were bringing back any money in America. It's a bald-faced lying teller. Those companies were never even paying any taxes. Majority of the taxes are on us. That's why they got all these now new IRS agents to now put more goddamn taxes on the common man. To go after the common man with all these IRS agents. They ain't going after no damn corporations or the damn billionaires. Class, they're going after us. They keep saying this shit, but you see the world, our economy's got worse with all these goopy policies they keep talking about. It's gotten worse from Reagan on. We're in more debt from Reagan on. We're poor from Reagan on. What are they talking about? There's not been any benefit in the economy and any raise of real wages since the late 70s. So what economies are these two morons talking about that's been a benefit for regular Americans? It hasn't. You haven't seen a pay increase in America since the late 70s. I wasn't even in the working goddamn economy yet in the late 70s. I was a kid. So I ain't never had a damn raise in this economy because real wages have not went up since the 19th, since before Reagan. And the oligarchy taking over power and pushing that Reaganomics shit down our throats. So we've got perpetually worse since then. And everybody can see it. Everybody can feel it. And they both keep talking fast. I've got a great economy, more than better than anybody. And what I've done, you've done absolutely nothing but built the money from the bottom to the top.
Never before. And we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID.
I do agree with that.
We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. When the vaccine went out, he did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after.
You're a third world nation because you haven't invested. The oligarchs that run the country, Trump, have not put any investments back into the damn foundation of the country. They've stripped the country bare. They built no more infrastructure. They gave all that money to China and other individuals, while China got high-speed trains and good roads. While we got nothing. While all these endless wars have been funded to go back in these oligarchs' pocketbook, as far as Raytheon, McDonnell Douglas, and all the other military corporations that they control and own. So no money has filtered down to the American people for their benefits. Healthcare is worse. We can't go get to go to the damn doctor. But Israel can go. Both these morons support Israel and give more money to Israel. They got free healthcare, but we don't. They don't pay no taxes. We do. But Israel's got goddamn our healthcare. We don't. And both of these bastards support that. Our tax dollars go to give Israel free health care, give them goddamn free education while we get nothing. We get thrown under the bridge literally with a goddamn tent and a bag of toilet paper. That's what we get.
Political opponent, all of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help.
Why you didn't do it now?
We'd be able to do child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We no longer respect it. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But You have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth.
I do agree. I do agree with them that
that
abortion, that Democrats then got radical, especially my home state of California. They believe in having abortions after the baby's living. This crazy shit. They got crazy with that abortion. Completely demonic. But supposedly they care about the life. I mean, care about the right of women in their bodies. But they sure they don't care about that. When they try to mandate the vaccines on you, they don't give a fuck about no right. It's only about the right of their agenda. They don't care about the autonomy of your body. They don't care about their agenda being pushed about abortion or vaccines. It's their agenda, not your autonomy right over your own goddamn body. I wouldn't vote for another Democrat if you goddamn paid me $1 million. It's no good, backward ass, wicked ass party.
Yeah, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in, they talk about that. But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have, everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states.
Sorry, guys, damn commercials.
I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion.
I think it's
Do you
common.
support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between.
Hold on, let me show you
woman and
guys
the doctor.
something. Now look, this is how you know how twisted this shit is. This TikTok appeal got denied. This one got accepted. And it's the same damn show on different accounts. Make it make sense. This one's now let me go live again. This one won't. The same damn information, same show. You don't know what the fuck they doing. Shit's crazy.
Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only woman's life is in danger. She's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
The Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? In fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board, at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, Washington voters trust you to solve this crisis.
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me, endorsed my position. In addition,
what are you talking about? Bush's position. You have illegal aliens flooding into the country. These are just facts. I'm on the border all the time, and we know they're coming across, and you're the ones funding them. But if I say that, I get denied on TikTok. My account gets taken down for telling the truth. You got illegal aliens all throughout America right now that are legal, that have been brought in by the government. These are facts. They're giving money. They got cars. You can interview them. And we're giving stipend of money every month. These are facts. Supposedly you're saying this, you're creating disinformation. That's a lie.
That we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure that the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there's 40% fewer people coming across the border legally. It's better than the U.S. basis. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban. It is a total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had
I don't
to do
think you know what he said either.
He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere, all over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything across the border is one who came along and killed 3 under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed 3 American
Now,
soldiers.
he's
Killed 3
definitely
American soldiers.
has dementia,
That's the only
family.
terrorists. that's
On
there.
stage
I'm not saying
dementia.
No terrorists ever got through.
I don't know what he's saying.
They're emptying their prisons. We're welcoming these people. That's simply not true. There is no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, and every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast.
Open the borders
because they're
on
gonna
purpose.
destroy our country.
It's on purpose.
Look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels
Exactly.
in New York City.
That's
and
a
other
lie.
places.
I
Our
said then I
veterans
got
on the street.
the
They're
other
dying
count.
because he
Man,
doesn't care
what?
about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all.
that's a
And he
lie.
doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA.
They got blocked.
He has
Tell the
worse. He's
truth.
gotten rid of all the
That's
things
a
that I
lie.
approved. Choice that I got through Congress, but all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in. And
President
it's a
Biden.
very sad day in
I
America.
want to see what's the difference
Everything
between
he
these guys.
says is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since they passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because
Exactly right, Hitman Brown. It's the same. They both gaslight you.
they're all being covered now.
As far as black people are concerned, there's no dime benefit between either one of them because they don't benefit anybody black. So I don't see any value in black people going to vote. So, and I also want to go. They got this fear campaign talking about this 2025, and I'm gonna go to before I finish. I'm gonna go to Taraji P. Henson, all the other bootlicks come out. We must vote. You might vote. You gotta go vote. 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 All the bootlicks always come out saying the same nonsensical shit. You must go vote, 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 go vote. Be scared. Go to 3-5, go read again. Same old scare tactics, trying to take black people to the polls when they've offered you nothing. Instead of scaring me with shit, how about you delight me with something you're gonna give me? You're gonna give me reparations? You're gonna give me something to vote for instead of something to vote against? Democratic Party is gonna give you something to vote against, but nothing to vote for. With all the fake fear, the 2025, and Trump is going to lock down everything. You're already done it through Biden when you try to push these fake mandates on us. You don't got the right to tell me what goes in my body. That's my right and God's right, not yours. Don't tell me Trump is going to be more totalitarian telling me the Biden administration told you you're going to lose your job if you don't do this, and we're tired of you. You're tired of you people that won't get forced to take something if you don't want to put your own body. You don't got the right to do that. But you tell me he's going to be more dictatorial than you? You trying to scare me? But you're not scaring me with your bullshit. Sorry, I'm not scared.
And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq. Lady went next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma.
Son's also a crackhead and a pedophile.
France.
How about that?
And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser. He was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
What's all
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up. And he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people.
They both say crazy. They both take care of soldiers. Of that. Soldiers are living homeless all over the country. They have PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress syndrome. But they both claim they take care of veterans. They don't. This country is always throwing away its veterans. Once you go fighting the endless goopy wars, when they come back, you come back all blown up or fucked up in the head. They do nothing for you. They discard your ass. So that's why they would say you a sucker for going to the military. Because when you get blown up for these oligarchs, you come back and you don't get the treatment you needed. But that money is given to Israel, so they'll have free health care. Israel has free health care, but our goddamn military veterans do not. Make that make sense? And they both support that shit. Both of them. So it's not the lesser of two evils. They're both captured. Fakes and phonies.
That it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who's on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family.
They all done, they both talking, they both have done more for veterans, and veterans are underneath these bridges all over America. It's just complete gaslight lying. It's like crazy talk now. Nothing is supposed to be reality. The propaganda's got so bad that nothing's even close to reality anymore. They both supposedly did the best for veterans in history, which is absolutely nothing.
Is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right. Thank you so much.
Topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President.
Now we're going to get in the gaslighting how the media is controlled by the same oligarch. You're talking about Russia's war against Ukraine. This is an absolute lie. The United States caused this war. The United States was the one that went into this war. They overthrew a duly elected government. This is a fact. Putin tried to get peace by going to the Minsk Accord, and America said no deal. These are either true or it's not. We're constantly getting gaslight with lies. They overthrew a duly elected government that was democratically elected by the Ukrainian people. They didn't want that, so they overthrew that government. That's a fact. Okay, it's a fact. So they're already starting this conversation off from a false narrative of propaganda. So they think most American people are too stupid to know that they overthrew a duly elected democratic government. So they go talking about Putin invaded Ukraine. They overthrew a democracy. That's what the CIA has been doing forever, overthrowing democracies.
Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander in chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of.
Look how crazy Biden does. This guy's got his full faculties. Come on, man. And he gonna talk about draft you to go to war, to fight for Israel and all that. And they got that, they passed that mandatory draft shit. Nobody's fighting for these oligarchs. Nobody. The cat's out the bag. No one's risking their life for people that have never done shit for you as an American citizen. So you can pass whatever dumb laws you think you're going to pass to get the youth to fight your dumb endless wars. They're not going to fight them.
Information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, and he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine, never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody.
Exactly right, Cash. They fight their own damn wars.
They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything.
Hamas.
No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
The ancient Egyptians understood that they
still got the commercial on
to reduce their weight.
Damn commercials.
President Biden?
Now saying the truth about the October 7th scam, inside job again, you can't say that because you know the narrative, they own everything. You can't say any of this truth. You got open genocide in Gaza right now, but you can't say that because you get censored. And they both want to continue this genocide. Him and Biden and Trump alike. So they're not in any difference. So why we got different? How they on opposing sides of any discussion? How they on opposing sides of any policy? They are not. That's why you see no matter who came in this fake thing, they put a Democrat in and a Republican in. This is all Machiavellian. Fam, it's all Machiavellian. Because you know you're going to get, you have the Democrats in for a little while, you get mad at them, then you throw them out, put the Republicans in. The Republicans come in, don't do shit, you get mad and throw them out. It's the same switch and bait shit you got going on. It's Machiavellian, where they don't do nothing for you. So you just keep passing the hat back and forth, this party in, that party out. That party out, this party in, because nothing ever changes. And so you just keep switching back from different parties because they never meant to do anything for the American people. It's all cosplay. It's all a bunch of word salad. When the policy, no matter who gets in office, the policy never changed. Endless wars, you have. No matter who's in there, endless goddamn wars and money laundering on a level that's true you can't even fathom. And nothing given to the American people to tell you what they've done. You can't show me shit they've done. Every American city is falling apart. Americans living in tents from sea to sea. Can't afford any rent. stomachs touching their backbone. They want to tell you what they've done. What have they done? Cause more poverty. Since Reagan, we've had nothing but more poverty of the middle class and the working class. Collapse of economics completely. But the right-wing wacko, he's easy to manipulate because he's based on his racism. Oh, don't let the black people get jobs. The black man might get my job. Don't let the black people, the blacks are good. The black people. Not the black people. So you could easily manipulate them morons, and they help facilitate this bankrupting of the country. They've helped it. They put these oligarchs in. They believed in this capitalistic shit. Still, damn that. To give all the money upward and believe in this fake trickle down shit that ain't never worked. You've had 40 years of this trickle down nonsense. It hasn't worked. Everybody's starving. Everybody's hurting. And they're still talking that same shit. Don't tax the rich. Don't tax the rich. The rich create jobs. What jobs? You got no jobs. That scam should already be out the damn barn already. That horse that left the barn, that fake scam, don't tax the rich. Keep letting the rich get more wealthier and they'll make jobs. Where the fuck are the jobs at? They're non-existent. They're lies. It's a con game. It's a scam. Well, the rich don't even get taxed anymore and all the money's being sucked from the bottom straight to the top. That's what you're dealing with. That's why inflation is crazy. And they both support taking money from the little man, giving it back to the wealthy. So you don't have any candidates. There's no opposition party. That's the con game. That's why you must be censored to have blue against red, red against blue. Excuse me up. It's a lie. It's a con. There's no red against blue, no blue against red. Because the oligarch controls both parties and fund both parties to do their bidding. So nothing trickles down to the middle class that doesn't exist, has been completely obliterated. Middle class does not exist. It's been obliterated. It's only the working poor now. And that's being stolen. That's why you got people crying on social media how they can't make it, how they can't feed themselves. And they're still talking about the same idiotic policies that created the situation that we're living in.
Never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. But he didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did. Crazy. Do whatever you want. And listen to what he said in the end. He's going to take Cuba 5 days, remember? And it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Cuba. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine.
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it.
That's a lot of money. But you wouldn't have gave it to the rich. You wouldn't have gave it to the American people.
$60 billion.
This money's never been given to the American people. They got money for wars, but can't feed the poor.
The money that we're spending.
They got money for wars all the time, can never feed the poor.
It should have
Can never create jobs, because that's not
war settled.
That's not what the owners of the country want. They want to keep you in despair. They want to keep you goddamn always struggling, barely holding on, because it benefits them. You get to be run by psychopaths. Sociopaths and psychopaths run this country from behind the scenes. to always keep you goddamn struggling. All the money going to Ukraine, you can't buy nothing that benefit from giving them $200 and $300 billion. When that money could have easily been put back to homeless is only a couple $1 billion. You could have ended the homeless crisis with $5 billion out of the $200 and $300 billion you gave Ukraine. They don't want to end it. You could have been took every veteran and homeless person for $5 billion. 5 billion family would have ended that. Why don't they ever end it? They never end the damn homeless crisis ever. Or the veteran crisis. Never ended. It's election after election with the same gaslighting shit. Election after election, never doing anything for the American people. Nothing. But they always got money for wars. They always got enough money to fund wars. From fake ass paper money printed from nothing that causes the inflation on me and your backs. Can't pay for rent. Can't pay for food. But they got money to send for wars. And it only takes $5 billion to clean all the houses, the homeless in America. Where's that at? Where are these leaders, these fake presidents, ever allocated $5 billion to homelessness? It's never happened. Because they're not allowed to ever do it. They don't give a shit, even if they could do it. We live in an oligarchy, not a democracy. People don't want to see homeless people suffering. So that would be a democracy. The American people want homelessness off the streets. Just for the eyesore it is. But none of these government officials have done anything about it. They've got the money to end it. Why have they ended it then?
Putin and Zelensky, as president-elect, before I take office on January 20th, I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people.
That's a lie.
And he has made one thing clear. He wants to
That's a lie.
establish what was part of the Soviet Empire. Not just
So Israel's not war criminals?
Ukraine.
Committing goddamn genocide in Gaza?
You think
But Putin's a war criminal. It's all made up.
What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that money we give Ukraine for weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward, which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened? In Israel, we're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so there are 2 different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for what using certain weapons among population centers.
Let's go back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating
Let me
us,
pause this real
the
quick.
European nations together.
Do you want to crack the code to YouTube success, but don't know where to start? I've got a secret that can change
Damn,
the
bro.
game for you.
Have spent 100.
Now let me pause this real quick and show this real quick. Let me go to this real quick. Now you got this moron here, the same gaslighting that they try to give you, right? To be scared. You got all these fake puppet ass entertainers that are already on the boot. They're nothing but bootlegs, right? You can't trust none of them. They do not give a shit about black people and what benefits us. They're told to do a certain thing so they have their career not stopped. And so they always engage in goddamn propaganda against black people. So that's why I told you should never have cried when this broad told me she wasn't getting paid no money. Who gives a shit? This fake ass broad here. Now listen to this propaganda she gave at the BET Awards. I'm gonna get back to Trump in a minute.
When it's time to vote, because it's not just about the presidential election, you guys. It's time for us to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come. Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless? Pay attention.
Yeah. And so why hasn't Biden did anything about the homeless crisis, goddammit? In 4 years you run around telling black people to vote. Why didn't Biden take the $200 billion he spent in Ukraine and the 50 billion he spent in Gaza, and when he only need $5 billion to clean up the homeless all throughout America? Why did he do that, Taraji? You're screaming and hollering about voting. When did any administration you talk about put money into homeless crisis that you're talking about? Yeah, they criminalize homelessness because they want slaves in their prison system. And most black people, most of the people that's out here homeless are black people who support this wicked ass Democratic Party. So what policies have the Democrats passed to keep black people out of the streets, Taraji? He damn sure gave money to Zelensky and them, who are the most corrupt government in Europe, Ukraine. They're out there buying $1 million houses and Bugatti cars with that money. That's a fact, Taraji. Biden's been in 4 years. Where's this goddamn money to the homeless black people in the streets? Where's that at? So don't try to do this fear campaign that you're talking about, woman. Keep your damn mouth shut.
Show out for when it's time to vote, because it's not just about the presidential election, you guys. It's time for us to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come. Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless? Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game.
Project 2025 plan. Look at the Project 2025 plan. When they've been the dictators, man. He's the one dictated this fucking mandated vaccine on you. Look up what, lady? Biden and them, the ministers have been gaslighting and dictatorships and having, because most black people who are able to get jobs, these jobs work for the government, whether it be state, federal, or county. They all lost their jobs if they refused to take something that they didn't want to put in their damn bodies. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm offended that your ass even talking. Shut your damn mouth. I'm offended by you, lady. Offended by you, bootlicks. Your gaslighting, your lies, your treachery. You had no problem when they were trying to dictate mandates. That's a dictatorship to mandate anything in my body. Where was you at talking about that, Taraji? Oh, they're not paying me my money. I'm not making what I should make. So what? Can what they pay your ridiculous ass? See, all these bootlick, handkerchief head, damn black entertainers, they do not represent black people. That's why they always come out and make these things on these non-black shows. BET is not owned by black people, family. News alert. We don't own this wretched ass, debaucherous ass channel of filth. And she had no problem being on BET. This award, it had nothing but destruction of filthy, debaucherous culture. Talking about that's culture's biggest night. As black people are supposed to be portrayed as debaucherous and filthy. What culture is this? Whose culture is this representing globally? That we're debaucherous, useless, baseless people? Is that what you're talking about, Taraji? Huh? You say nothing about that. You have no problem with the award destroying our image globally. You have no problem with that. These awards are destroying our image globally. And you talking about voting. What about the image that did this BET Awards that you had? You had no smoke for that. But you went to about some fake 2025 shit. And now you ain't getting paid. You already had a dictatorship with Biden trying to mandate shit to us. And as black people, you should have known what happened with the syphilis trials in Alabama. That we don't like nobody telling us what to put in our bodies, being forced to put in our damn bodies. Because we have a long history of deceit and treachery against us. So what are you talking about?
They are trying to bring the draft back. Who do you think they're going to draft first?
Those are your people bringing back the draft, you moron. This is your war, stupid. Biden's war is fucking Ukraine. They implemented that war. See, so they think you're stupid again. That war was implemented by the Democrats. It make no difference. Trump was it too. That was the oligarchs control both parties. But the Democrats have sent that money to Ukraine. They did that. They're the ones, the Democrats voted for that. You had enough Democrats to vote against that shit. They voted to implement that damn war. The Democrats voted for that shit. Why they didn't vote against it, lady? What are you talking about? Because they still think most black people are stupid. Who voted to implement that draft, lady? The Democrats did. Who voted to send all this money to goddamn Ukraine? The Democrats did. You controlled both houses of Congress when Biden first got in. The Senate and the House. Did you help homeless people then? Oh, no, you did nothing. Did you help homeless people then? No. Your money had to go to Ukraine. What did you do then? So what are you talking? What are you screaming and hollering on this debaucherous ass award show? Who paid you, lady, to do your gaslighting? You ridiculous moronic broad. Who paid you to push this propaganda to us? The wars were backed by the Democrats. They started the war in Ukraine. They backed it. They're funding it. What are you talking about, lady? Sound crazy as cat shit. You're despicable. You're a despicable broad. You're a despicable woman. You are despicable.
I'm not trying to scare us.
That's
I'm trying to inform us.
Is that what you're
We
trying to
have
do?
3 Supreme Court seats up, you guys. We need those seats. Or we have no protection. Okay. I got it out my system.
You got your system because they need to tell you that, you despicable broad. You didn't do that on your own. They put you up to that shit. You despicable bastard, you. The war was started by the Democratic Party. Go back and you didn't bring that up. That the money, the funding was by the Democrats. Joe Biden. He sponsored this Ukraine shit. The Democrats sponsored it. Go back and look this up, lady. What are you talking about? So now they want you to go goddamn to war for them. We're not going to war for your fucking, your damn stealing of a country and resources that don't benefit us. The Democrats started that. lady. Oh, have you forgotten that? Some of the goopy Republicans were trying to fight against the send money to Ukraine. I give them a little bit of credit. But the Democrats unanimously funded that goddamn Ukrainian shit. What are you talking about, lady? That's the reason why they're trying to draft our ass, because your party did that. They completely disengaged. It's crazy talk. Crazy gaslighting is crazy. Absurd.
Billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said, did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting old. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them, as far as Israel and Hamas.
Yeah, Rick, I heard about them talking about they're there to cause a civil war. Yeah, they admitted they were brought here to cause a civil war and to cause chaos. Yeah, I heard about that. That's a fact. That's what they brought. Guess who's doing that? People that run the government. They're the ones who are doing it. Ones who sponsor Joe Biden, and we just say the Jays. Okay? Shout out to them. We'll say the Jays are the ones behind it. They're the NGOs that's bringing them all in here. That's a fact. They're the ones sponsoring Trump and Biden. So they're the ones who are doing it.
Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one. And you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it.
He said he should let him go. So they both support genocide. You should let him go and finish the job because that's been the plan. So you don't got no difference. You don't got no difference between neither one of them. They both want to keep giving billions of dollars to Israel to commit genocide. And that's why they want you sign up for their wars so you'll go fight for the Jays. And my babies ain't going to fight for none of that shit. None of it. None of it. And most American people are not going to fight for it because their eyes are open. They're not fighting for any democracy because you don't live in one. You don't live in no damn democracy. You live in an oligarchy controlled by a whole different foreign power. Charge my phone before I go out. Give me a second, guys. I'm over here. So they both agree with this, just giving billions of dollars. They're still talking about how they're going to fix the homeless crisis. She's screaming, none of them give a shit about homeless people. And they actually don't give a shit about us being forced to be homeless now. Can't afford rent. 3 and 4 people got to pay to get an apartment. Because they can't even live in an apartment, a one-room shack by themselves. Because the jobs and the cost of living hasn't kept up with inflation. Shout out to the morons who voted for Reagan. This is Reaganomics. No matter what they call it, Bidenomics, Trumponomics, Obama, it's the same shit. From the 80s on, complete destruction of the U.S. economy to benefit the majority of people. The oligarchs had already planned in the 60s to start destroying the middle class and then the working class. This is Agenda 2030. You'll own nothing, you'll be happy. And every puppet that they put in power has pushed this agenda forward, whether they be Democrat or Republican. Everyone has pushed this filthy agenda forward. That's what you see. So you got the scam, oh, I'm mad at the Democrats, let me put a Republican in it. I'm mad at the Republicans, they put a Democrat in. But nothing changes. Nothing ever gets better. Nothing. Same gaslight over and over again, every 4 years, same lies. Nothing changes for the regular man, regular woman. Nothing. Endless wars. Money going to support people you don't know the fuck they are. Those people can't even put out Ukraine on a map. Nobody. Now we're paying Ukrainians goddamn salaries. They don't tell you that on the news. All their salaries have been paid. The government been paid by the American taxpayer. And since the elite pay no damn taxes, the companies pay no taxes, all that money is coming from us, the working poor, because the middle class has been decimated. We're all the working poor now. So our money is going to back this damn Ukrainian shit because the rich pay no taxes. Heard Trump and tax breaks for the rich, tax breaks, more tax breaks for the rich, more tax breaks for the corporations who are going to build companies, and you lost companies, right? I want you to make this make sense. Let's add this up real quick. Hold on a second. Let's add this up, family. Let's add this up. Let's add this con game scheme up. They said that giving money to the rich is going to make more jobs. And since 1980, this trickle-down bullshit. But if you count the jobs, you have less jobs taken away from the country since 1980 and everything shipped to China or Mexico. Less jobs. So just practically speaking, it's a lie. It's a lie. We've got less employment today than we had in 1980. Less good jobs today. But they told you for the last 40 years, giving money to the rich is going to be a job creation. And you know that you're not retarded, you're not crazy. That's a goddamn lie. You know it's a lie. You know that's been a lie. There's been no job creation. We have less jobs now. All the money's now focused and abused. Small hands now. That the economy shrunk and controlled by megalomaniac psychopaths. And all our industries have been shipped to China. That's a fact. So where are all these jobs that they promised you when in the 80s that if you give more money to the rich create jobs? It's a lie. So you got 40 years of analysis now that you can goddamn easily see that that is a lie. Actually 44 years now. That you can analyze what they told you is a lie. And trickle-down economics does not work. It's fraudulent. But they're both still pushing that tax cut shit. Who don't pay any taxes now. So they don't even, so there's no benefit to having millionaires and billionaires in your economy because they benefit nothing to you. There's no benefit to having a millionaire or a billionaire in the economy because it's a zero-sum game. They do not benefit the economy because they don't have any tax base that they contribute to. It's just a mass theft, grab, steal. And now they stole so much they control all of Congress. We're completely owned and controlled now. And the right-wing wacko has voted for this shit for 40 years. And now his stomach is touching his raggedy-ass backbone. And they still think Trump is some damn savior, pushing the same failed policies. This is Biden's policies are both failed because they're both backed by the same people. No matter who wins, who loses, they win. And we continue to lose because neither one of these candidates represent us because they were not brought to us by us. None of these candidates represent us. So it's the same copy and paste nonsense we will always get.
He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
You guys say don't like what?
President Biden, you have a minute.
So what the Palestinians don't like neither one of you guys. You guys commit genocide. What are you talking about? They're both, that's what he said was idiotic. They don't prefer neither one of you, neither do the American people. We're forced to have you. This is how the fake democracy thing works. The money elite control all both parties because you got to have the money. And whoever wins, they win. Doesn't matter. They pay this fake ass duel of gotcha, fake ass back and forth, which means absolutely nothing, because at the end of the day, whoever wins, they win. Because the policies never change. See that? We still got homeless like we had when Reagan was in power. Has the homeless shit stopped? No. Have the American people got more benefits? No. We've got things taken away from us in the last 40 years and never replaced. And now they're trying to censor everybody from saying it now, because now it's obvious. Because you got 40 years to do a juxtaposition of what they're talking about. You can juxtapose the lie they've been telling you. If you get more money to the rich, they create jobs and things will be better. Well, goddamn it, it's been 40 years of giving money to the rich. And we're broker, poor, starving, struggling. Things have got worse. But you keep pushing that same hustle about giving tax breaks to the rich. When has it worked? Never. Because it was never designed to work. It's a farce. It's a lie. It's a con.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have our strength lies in our alliances as well. There may be a big ocean, but if we're able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe, what happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
You're talking about going to Poland. Putin is never going to Poland. You forced Putin's hand. And Ukraine was part of Russia anyway. That's their answer. That's where Russia started, family, in Kiev. So that's historically their land any damn way. They tried to go in and steal it from the Russians because the person that got elected in a democratically elected government election was pro-Russian. They couldn't have that, so they overthrew him in a color revolution. So you're getting gaslit by both these morons. You're being gaslit with nonsense. The CIA caused a color revolution in Ukraine in 2014, where they overthrew a duly elected democratic government. They don't give a shit about no democracy. That's the scam and con they've been saying forever. But what about Putin going into Poland? He's going to do all this. Why would he do that? No reason to do that. He's not going to do none of that. For what reason? Become broker? Doesn't make any sense. That's this boogeyman thing they're trying to give you. See, remember, Taraji P. Henson just gave her own step away with a stupid ass. He wants more war. We got to start to go to Poland. He's the one causing you to goddamn go get drafted. Because he wants these endless wars. Because they need these endless. That's the only way they make money now. Remember, they hollowed out America. America has no industries. They gave it all to China. So you have no way of making money in America because they hollowed out the industries. Supposedly, with the trickle-down economics, they were going to get more jobs, and the rich were going to create more wealth, and all this other bullshit. You got 40 years of analysis now. You know that's a lie. Any moron still talking that stupid shit to you, turn your back and walk away. Say, listen, I don't discuss things with retarded people. Because the analysis is already in from 44 years of this failed policy. It's a lie. It was a lie when they talked about it. Now you got 40 years of proof showing you that it didn't work. And now you got a few people too damn rich that they completely colonized the government. But the government doesn't work for your benefit whatsoever. And the only way you can take it back over is from the local governments and work your way back up. Because it's completely infiltrated The oligarchs have taken over all of it through graft, corruption, blackmail, completely taken over. That's why in 40 years, everything just got worse. Go back and do a simple analysis how people live from 1979 to now and see if things are better now than they were then. They're not. They're worse. This is simple analysis will bear that out when you get past all that fake propaganda. Simple analysis tell you we were making more money in 79 than we are today. You've had no real wages increase since the late 70s. Inflation has doubled and tripled since then. So how is this economic scam they've been talking about, lowering taxes on the rich, worked? It hasn't. It's a lie. They knew it was a lie then when they implemented this shit, but you didn't have the analysis to come back and counteract what they were saying. Now you got 40 years of analysis to prove what they were saying was an absolute lie. And it's been a lie. And these morons keep talking the same thing about tax cuts, tax breaks for the rich.
I got 50 other
And
nations
in this war
to support Ukraine, including
support
Japan
Ukraine.
and South Korea, because they understand.
Americans don't give a shit about no fucking Ukraine. Bring the money home and put it to work for us. That's why none of them saying that. None of them saying they're going to bring the money home and put it to us. None of that. So they're not speaking for us. The American people don't give a shit about Ukraine. Bring the money home and let it work for us, which they're not going to do.
This kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace.
Serious threat. It's always constant war. Every year it's a war. Like every year it's a serious threat. Iraq and against a serious threat. Syria and Libya, they go. It's a serious threat to the whole world. Hamas and Hezbollah, serious threat to the whole world. And Putin's a serious threat to the whole world. Putin, the war, serious threat in South Korea, war, and more war, and more, and more war, and more war, and more war. And Taraji P. Henson told you to vote for this moron who's promoting more war. She just said they're trying to now, what? Recruit you forcefully. That's the morons that's talking about the wars. Biden. So what are you talking about, lady? How's vote for his ass stopping my baby from getting his head blown off? What are you talking about, moron? Sound crazy. What are you talking about?
Contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, no, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting?
That's all about, Paul. You hear anything in there that help black people? I'm going to end this. I'm going to go because the rest is the same shit, same nonsensical shit through here. But you heard nothing that would make you go vote for either one of these people. Nothing, even if you, let's say not if you wasn't even black, just American people as a whole. There's nothing either one of these morons said that would benefit you in your day-to-day life. So what's the benefit of voting? See, Taraji's trying to, I'm not trying to scare you. You are trying to scare us, moron. Exactly what you're trying to do. That's what you're told to do. You are a tool. That's why you're doing it. Because you know people are going to call you out as fear mongering. That's what you're doing. Trying to scare black people to the polls. To vote for nothing and then vote for the very thing that you're talking about. He wants to implement more war. What are you talking about?
meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worried that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who is a documentary filmmaker, what they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, you can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll not forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that, no. He went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He didn't do a damn thing. And these people should be in jail. And they should be the ones that are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says that he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon, this man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody just when they broke down doors, broke the windows,
And I got blocked again. What the hell?
turned over desks, turned over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked him about the first two debates we had, the first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boy? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing to, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people?
I got blocked again. Shit, each time. It's crazy.
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the select committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor, having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before.
You did that.
President in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about?
I have sex with a porn star while your wife was pregnant.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
Had 200 people in his lives.
About what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming on. He's got a whole range of.
So now I got restored again.
I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know
I keep doing
it's a real problem.
They do it because they have all these people in his life.
Could you ever think you hear any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? You ever hear any president say that?
Had 500 people in his damn live. That's why.
run
on
the
this
first
one
presidential
TikTok
so I
channel.
decided to
I
stop
had 400 on the other one.
because of the rally.
That's why I keep
I
getting
said I
banned.
wouldn't run again.
At 400,
That's why-
at
what
500
happened
people on
was
this damn thing.
people coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic
This
choir.
was gone for good because I had 400 on here.
Back in Germany.
1,000 people on TikTok.
I spoke to the mother.
Keep getting fucking
He
cut off.
asked him, they said, what
Crazy.
what do you think of
You
those
have
guys?
1,000 people on TikTok, it's all it gets cut off.
Stop it. And the one
Keeps
who said
getting
it,
banned and
fine,
restricted.
both sides.
Fucking
What
crazy.
American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people. This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate.
Crazy
He made up the
cat.
Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor has, every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And debunk. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN
Commercial.
presidential debate.
Like another commercial this thing on, guys.
$5. That's enough to make a difference in this election.
Barack Obama.
If
Sorry.
every single person wants.
Now listen, this no good Obama talk about nothing. A bit intermission on, guys. Man, they got a long break. Huh?
More progress.
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is, more small black businesses that have been
See,
started.
so finally get around to black people. Let's go back on.
The wages of black unemployment.
It's a lie. So we're gonna finally gonna address black people. Let's see what he says about the black people supposedly addressed. I'm not gonna turn that TikTok thing back on again. Shit. Time I turn it on again. As soon as I get 200, 300, 400, 500 people up in there, it keeps getting banned. This one stayed banned, so fuck it. So let me see what they say when they start addressing black people. What's they addressing to black people? What are you gonna do specifically for us? Which is nothing. You already heard Kamala Harris, the big Asian lady, masquerading as a black woman, saying policies that benefit everybody, get nothing specifically for black people whatsoever. There you go.
Welcome back to the CNN presidential debate live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in the second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families.
Yeah.
Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die for pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one.
A lot of
Black
progress.
providers and more small black businesses that have been started from any time in history.
That's a lie.
Number two, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time.
Lie.
Number three, we're trying to find housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs.
Child care.
Or cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people could be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting
Child care. That's what you're talking about?
49
You done child care for black people.
What
What
do
are
you
you
say
talking
to
about?
black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family, first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax credit.
Now, we talked about this already. We talked about this nonsense already. And when Jibba Jabba Lim says every house is 10%. The average house, I told you guys, is $400,000. That's 40 grand. But Jibba Jabba said in his area in Pennsylvania, you got to have 20%. That's $80,000. What is he talking about? And you know most black people don't even get that 10 grand he's talking about. What do you do to qualify? You can't just say because I'm black, do I get to qualify for this 10 grand? So that's a lie. And that doesn't cover anything. The average home price, because of your wars, your endless wars, and your fake trickle-down economics, the average home price is $400,000. What are you talking about, man? What am I doing with $10,000? Absolutely nothing. And I don't make the wages to save any more money because the rent and the mortgage price, well, you don't have a house. That's why it's $2, so you paying rent. The rent prices are astronomical, so how am I going to make up the other $10,000 or $60,000 to put with this big 10 you're giving me? Where's the hand up you're talking about? Instead of hand up, you got a hand in my ass. Hand up my ass. You're not giving me a hand up. You give me a hand up my ass and blowing smoke up my ass. That's what you're doing. This is little of nothing that you want to take credit for. Absolutely nothing.
So they can get started and make sure that we're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that they were engaged in nursing, and anything having to do with volunteerism. If they paid their bills for 10 years from student debt, all the rest was forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
Absolutely nothing.
Inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's double.
This all y'all shit.
And quadruple.
Duh.
They can't live. They're not living anymore.
Duh.
He caused this inflation. I gave him
a
country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do was leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all of the other.
Exactly. This you got that right. The Green New Scam. Now get it. The Green New Scam, family. That global warming shit. The Green New Scam and the carbon credits that the Democrats are pushing out. We supposed to say no to all that. That's the WEF Agenda 2030. We don't back none of that shit. So I do agree with Trump with the Green New Scam. And if he's going to stop that, stop all of it. Big carbon credits, charge you to live, charge you to breathe. Carbon, we're talking about. This is a money grab again for the insane rich, for the oligarchy. They're fucking insane. They're clinically insane.
Out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19,
Crazy Biden look.
million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be.
And the fake bourgeoisie got mad. Those are black jobs because we are on the lower ring of the economic spectrum, sadly enough. And they are taking those black jobs that we use to support our families, the construction jobs, truck driving jobs, all these jobs that we depended on to support our families. But the Democrats say, well, this is racist. That's just the fact. We've been put to the lower part of the economy by both parties. So immigration hurts us the worst. That's a fact.
Worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 50% unemployment. He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there's no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individuals.
Thousands and millions of jobs. That's a lie.
We made sure that they
There are no thousands of millions of jobs. That's thousands. It's 1,000 million. Didn't neither one of them create no job. Trump or Biden. We've lost jobs since the 70s and 80s. We've lost jobs. It's been a net loss, family, since they fake ass, wicked ass economic scam from the 80s and late 70s. There's been no net gain of jobs in this country. There's only been net loss, especially of decently paying jobs that can take care of family. That's been a loss. That's why most people have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. And then when they work 2 and 3 jobs, they still can't pay the fucking rent, still can't buy groceries, still can't put gas in the cars or keep the lights on. So what the fuck are either one of these geriatric septenarians talking about? What world are they living in? Crazy town.
Again, and they're going to try again if they win. We find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing it, we put more.
So there's nothing to vote for with neither one of these bastards.
He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on. But in inflation, he caused it.
And biggest stuff, there's a lot going on. Inflation, what we're doing, talking to the man in the moon, and we're jumping on the back of a horse, and we're riding around doing stuff, man. That's what we're doing. And we're doing stuff. There's a whole lot of ambiguous mumble babble talk. Doing this, man, we're doing that. But don't believe your lying eyes. You know people are out of work. You know people are struggling. But these two morons keep telling you things are great. Great they've ever been. They both made everything great. Don't mind your lying eyes on the homeless people out here. People can't afford to go to the hospital. Can't pay the bills and crying online. Don't mind any of that. That's a smokescreen and illusion. Believe that they create the greatest economies that ever existed.
By his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across
Lie, fake ass climate crisis, fake shit. It's a lie, it's fraudulent. It's nothing but a damn grab steal again of the psychopathic so-called elite trying to steal everything that's not bolted down to the ground. It's a goddamn steal of everything with this fake ass climate change scam. It's a lie.
the country are confronting the
That's why all the media is pushing it, because the same people own all the media. It's a scam. Carbon credit. Remember when you said this 20 years ago about the carbon credits? It was a conspiracy theory. Now all the conspiracies always seem to come true. Isn't it funny? Before you do their wicked ass deals and bring it to the public, it's a conspiracy theory. Now it's just common knowledge that they're doing it now.
devastating effects of extreme heat, intensifying wildfires, stronger hurricanes.
It's been actually colder this year. Summer hasn't been that. It's been actually kind of chilly, not extremely warm. That's a lie.
And rising sea levels. Former President Trump
Rising
used
sea
that to
levels.
end your opponent's
Damn.
climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that.
Look at Chris.
Super predators was his
Yeah, we
name.
were super
They
predators.
called it to them, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job, great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with that in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers. He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But when do you see these millions of people pouring into our country and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet? It's a disaster.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that he said is true. I passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find us.
Where's the black crime, hate crime bill, Joe, that you promised black Americans 5 years ago when you were running? Where's the black? You passed one for the hate Asians. Now you got one talking about anti-Semitic crimes or anti-Semitic hate. Where's the black hate crime bill that you promised? The Asians got one. They didn't vote for your ass. They got one. Where's our hate crime bill at, Joe? Where's it at? Oh, you never pushed it because all you do is gaslight black people, tell lies. And black people have really turned their backs on your no good ass. You are the one that called black people super predators, along with Hillary Clinton no good ass. And so Taraji P. Henson talking about that beer talk, that shit don't work, Taraji. It's not going to work. My prayer, my opinion, is that black people need to stay home because we're getting nothing from either one of these old bastards. We're getting nothing from them. So why vote? It's not any one of our benefits. They're offering us nothing. They're giving us nothing. So we give them what they're offering and giving us. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm getting ready to wrap this up, guys. It's 3 hours we've been on here.
By the way, black colleges. I came up with $50 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like. Any black student escape from college and doing any white student can do. He doesn't have the money, but now they'll be able to get those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had cleanest water, he hadn't done a damn thing to the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord. I immediately joined it because if we reach 1.5 degrees Celsius at any one point, there's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change. And he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing. It was a ripoff of the United States. And I ended it because I didn't want to waste that
Thank
money
God.
because they treat us hard.
I'm glad he did end that climate accord, that fake shit. And he's right about that. So I will give Donald Trump kudos on that. That's what the damn globe, you call it, globalists want to do. So, family, I'm going to wrap this up. We've been on 3 hours. Come back on tomorrow, a couple times tomorrow. Like I said, I'm back. We're good. Much love, family. I'm going to wrap this joint up. Woo! Here we go. Start this thing from the beginning. We out, family. We out. I see no reason to vote on any one of these bastards, right? I see no reason to vote for any one of them. I say about it tomorrow. Same black time, same black channel. Black, hot, fire. We out. Can't keep TikTok banned. Get 1,000 people on TikTok, they coming for my ass. Black, hot, fire. Just talking about this, which is little to nothing. Woo! All right now. Everybody have a good night, fam. We're going to lock this thing down. See everybody tomorrow. Same black time, same black channel. Black, hot, fire. Everybody smash that like button on your way out. Can't say hit the screen because I refuse to turn TikTok back on. One account is banned for a whole week. Thanks everybody for showing up. We out. Everybody have a good night. Late as hell. Down at 1 o'clock in the morning. Woo! I thought I almost 12 in the morning. 12 in the morning, my fault. Black, hot, fire. We out. We out. Black, hot, fire. Much love to the fam. Woo! Black, hot, fire. Everybody have a good night. We out. Woo! Black, hot, fire. Woo! Black, hot, fire. Black, hot, fire. Woo! Black, hot, fire. We out. We out. We out. Much love, family. See everybody tomorrow, family. Much love. We out of this piece. Peace, everybody.